What's up, guys? George MGR Performance. The day came. We started the assembly of the no time twin turbo small block Chevy powered Mustang. In the previous video, I showed you guys the upgrades. My housing is done. I had to mix some bearings to get the clearance that I want. Some H and HXs. This is the crankshaft we'll be using for the last 2 years. We'll rebalance the crankshaft. This is a Molnar crank. It did really well for us after 2 years. The only sign of issue that it showed is due to the lack of no center counterweights. It was flexing a bit, so the middle bearings didn't look that great. That's 2 years of drag racing 8th mile, new setup, methanol. Mistakes were made, nothing was hurt. It's in for a refresh and upgrades. As you can see, all the journals look nice, just with the polish. My housing is, all my clearances are done. All my rods have been torqued, and the line you see there is my dollar bore gauge to have all my clearances set. And hopefully I got the show block done today. We're continuing. I have a good example to show you guys. When you adjust your end plate, sometimes you can have the thrust bearing being a little bit not straight. Usually it goes good, but you always have to check. So you see, this is the second time I loosen it and I try to place the thrust and everything, and you see how it's bouncing back. Go the other way. It's bouncing back. No good. So I gotta take out the rear thrust and measure things. I have other bearings here. Sometimes you just have to sand the sides a bit, but I prefer if I have another bearing, new one, without having to sand and everything, that it can give me the correct end plate. I loosened it. I tried to pry the crank this way, that way. It's not good. And I think, you see, if I turn the cranks 180 degrees, it's the same thing. So when I loosen this up, I have end plate. So my problem is with the top half of the bearing, which is good news. I don't have to take out the crank again. We're continuing. Things sometimes they go smooth. Most of the time they don't go smooth. You have to adjust everything. Every single thing in these motors, any kind of engine that goes through here, everything gets checked, because you have no choice. You don't check everything, you don't make everything perfect, you're gonna have a failure. So, continuing. So I just removed the rear cap, just to show you guys. The rear cap is removed. Put my dial indicator at 0. It goes to 7 thousandths. 0, 7 thou. So we have to take some material out or try to change the bearing around. We're gonna figure it out. Okay, I got it going. So basically, like I showed you before, I took out the top cap, top rear main cap, and I had 7 or 8 thou end plate. So it was the top half that was creating the issue. Took it out, mic'd it. There was some high spots. So what you do is you use a flat surface with a sandpaper, and you slowly take out the high spots. Go the other way, wash it, make sure it's the same temperature, mic it again, and I just put it back in, retorqued it, okay, and we're 0. 4 and change. That's what it was. I was getting almost 5. You see, it goes here. It moves nice and free. It stays there. And you hear it. Listen. When you hear that, you know it's good. You can move the crank 180 degrees, let's say. And it's doing the same thing. Beautiful. Perfect. 4.5. We'll continue. Hey guys, another thing that I like to do once the crank is in. So basically, where did I put it? I take my micrometer. Everything is already done, but I just like to see, go here. We're at a small size, standard. We're at a small size. Small size, identical. Perfect. Just an extra checkup, which I've already done all this. But when you're trying to make 2,000 horsepower with ordinary stuff, you should quadruple check everything. Perfect. We're at the small size. So now I lock my micrometer and all the rods here. I'm gonna go with my dial bore gauge and I'm gonna reconfirm my clearances. I do this 2-3 times. So the people that know me know the way I work. But you know what? In this business, you always have haters and people that are trying to put your work down. But I mean, I've been doing this as a shop for nearly 15 years, and I've been drag racing since the age of 16, and I'm 46 soon. So take it for what it is. I'm just showing you how I do it, right? Maybe somebody else does it different. Doesn't mean I'm right, he's wrong. To me, it works good. I dyno test all my engines and I don't have problems. I have very, very good success with my builds. As long as the client follows what I want to be done, build the engine with like this, try to use the best parts. We need to do this, we need to do that, we need to go to the dyno afterwards. Once it's in the car has to come to the chassis dyno, get a tune-up into it. If people follow these procedures, sorry, but it's cold over here, not in the shop, but outside. If people follow these procedures, you eliminate the chance of failure. When you skip, oh, I'm gonna save $700 from the dyno, I'm gonna save another $700-800 from the chassis dyno. If you're spending 15-20 grand on a setup, example, it could be more, it could be less. You're talking about 10% more to have it, to make sure everything is perfect, you know? Spend the extra money, do it the right way. You know what I mean? Use the better parts. I know it's a hobby, I know things get expensive, but you better not to get into it at all if you're gonna do half-assed things and not use good stuff and trying to, then you start pointing fingers, or it's his fault, it's his fault. I showed you the drift engine, everything was perfect. It was a new block, right? Brand new from GM, the client had. And we just went 5,000 over from 65, we went to 70 just to make sure we do our own finish and our own clearance, and it's perfectly straight and everything. We didn't even board the block, we just honed it. Everything was super good. After one season, the cylinders are all like this because it's making 700 horsepower naturally aspirated. They're spraying 250 horsepower nitrous. There was issues with the tune-up, and on top of everything, it's a stock block. So it is what it is. It's good. Back to this. I just want to reconfirm, and I'm putting it together. Quick, I want to show you something else here. I just installed my my cylinder number 1 in, and I mean the specs they show you here. Okay, 80 foot-pounds, 5.5 to 6.5 stretch. Well, 80 pounds is only giving like 4 or 4.5, 4 or 5/10 stretch. So right now I'm at 85 pounds, which that's where I usually put this bolt. It's giving me just a bit over 5, which I'm gonna stay at that. I don't like torquing these bolts past 85 pounds, even I spoke with Tom Molnar concerning this, and he explained to me about how the bolt is like a spring and it tensions away. But I've had good luck with the RP 2000 bolts all these years, torquing them 75 pounds, and all of a sudden all these companies are asking 90 pounds, 100 pounds, stretch like this, stretch like that. So I had some bolt failures in a few years back, and that kind of scared me away from being torqued so much to achieve. I mean, for me to get 6.5 stretch, it's probably going to be 95, close to 100 pounds to get that kind of stretch. I don't feel comfortable torquing these bolts all the way to that crazy amount when all these years we've been running ARP 2000 stuff with 75 pounds and we never had problems, you know? So I find like 85 pounds works good, even though I do my first torque 25, and then I do it like an angle curve, and I put a lot of lube under so it slides easily. So that's where I'm at right now. Almost 5.5, a little bit over 5, and I'm staying there. 85 pounds, and I'm good. I know I'm gonna be good there. Like, all this stuff is manufacturers telling you to base yourself. So basically what they're telling you is that if you don't have a stretch gauge like me, you should torque at 80 pounds. So if I didn't have the gauge, all I'll be doing is torquing 80 pounds. And you know what the stretch is? 4 to 4 5/10, right? So it's 1 thou less. So this is another way, which is the preferred way to stretch the bolt to have the maximum clamp. So if you don't have a stretch gauge, all you're going to be doing is torquing 80 pounds and you go on your way and you're probably never going to have a problem, right? So I got both. So with experience and with time, you call your own shots. You know what I mean? How you want things done. I mean, you know, after all these engines, Dyno's racetrack, you see what's what. You know what I mean? I mean, this bolt is it's an ARP 2000 bolt. It's the same bolt like Manly, and Manly is asking you like 90 pounds, and then you have Molnar that it's 30 pounds and 60 degrees. He almost goes to 100 pounds of torque. Which torque, it's if you don't put enough lube under here when you're torquing things, it can show 100 pounds of torque. It's just forcing against the cap. You're not really stretching the bolt. You know what I mean? So the real way is by stretching. But I think where I'm at right now, we're gonna be good. So this is how I'm doing it. I'm still within specs. I'm on the beginning of the stretch. I'm not in the maximum. So I'm sure we're gonna be fine. Continue, just a little heads up how I do things and have great success. Other people might disagree with me. They might say torque is 75 pounds, even though the paper says 80. Other people will say, no, you need to torque at 95 pounds. Again, this is the right tool. This tells you from being neutral, how much are you stretching the bolt. That is the correct way. All right, guys, everything is going super good over here. Everything is going super normal. I've installed 1357. As you can see, everything moves nice and free, even though I have the thick braking lube. Everything is good, nice. Everything looks good. The engine turns like butter. The next step, I'm gonna install the timing set. Like that, I don't interfere the cam with the connecting rods. As you can see, it takes no force whatsoever. It turns like butter. Everything is looking good. Everything is moving free. You cannot rush. You cannot rush when you do this kind of engines, any engine. This is why I'm the one-man show in my shop. I take them apart, I inspect them, I do everything from A to Z. Certain things get sent out because I don't have a full machine shop here. We're getting more and more equipment. Certain things, it has to be sent out, like the balancing, like boring a block and stuff like that. I'm getting a CK10 Honer right now as we speak. So all that is gonna be in-house, refacing the heads in-house and all that stuff. But it's one person over here. I do everything. I do the measurements. I set up the combinations. I'm the guy that designs the camshafts. I'm the one that goes to the dyno with the motor. I'm the one that most of the time tunes the engine at the track or on my chassis dyno. I'm a big believer that when there's too many people involved, too many chances for mistakes. So my recipe works, and I'm keeping it that way because I have very, 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 very limited in the last 15 years. Other people, they probably had the issues I had in 15 years in 1 year. So I'm very happy with my shop. I'm very happy with my customers. I'm very proud of the work that we do. We care, we deliver good work. And you can ask any of my customers, people that they're not my customers and they like to bash on my shop and other shops. I mean, there's haters in every field. So, but if you ask any of my customers that have been here and they're here back and back year after year, and with their daily cars or their race cars or their hot rods or whatever, you're only gonna hear good stuff, you know? So because of this, look, another shop would have had the engine assembled by now. I've been working all day, measuring this, the end plate this, rewash the crank, repolish this, remeasure everything. Once this thing fires up and it starts seeing boost, there's no beep. Sorry, I almost cursed. There's no excuses. You know what I mean? When something lets go, nobody wants to hear excuses. You know what I mean? And I am such a I'm the hardest person on myself. I am my worst critic. So if something fails, I am more pissed off than the client, because to me it's an insult. So when you're proud of yourself, when you're proud of your work, failure is not an option. I mean, in this game, everybody has failures because of parts or whatever. But trust me, if I do have one, I'm not happy at all. I'm probably more pissed than the customer, and I want to see why and how and what went wrong or whatever. That's just my character, the way I am. I'm a very competitive person when it comes to, you know, my customers to win. I'm at the track, I get all fired up, or like I'm not a sore loser, but I want to win. You know what I mean? If you're in this game and you don't want your customers to be top dogs, or if you don't want your customers to have successful seasons, you're in the wrong business. Because this business, it is based on competition. Not to be mean with other shops, not to fight with other shops or stuff like that. I mean, things happen at the track, especially with no time stuff. Arguments do happen. But I mean, like, if you're not going to be proud of your work, if you're not going to be proud of your craft, who's going to be proud for you? You have to respect yourself before anybody else. You know what I mean? This is why I got in this business, because I love this stuff. I've been doing it since a little kid. I love drag racing. I love the trip. Look, I did this engine 2 years ago. I'm just as excited now as 2 years ago, if not more, because I know we got bigger turbos, better rods, better pins, this, that. I know what this thing can do. And the chassis works on this car. We're going 108. Next year will be 102, 104. Mark my words what I'm telling you. That car was 60 foot, 102, 104 with 275s. And I'll show you the slip. I won't show you the full slip because they're no time car. And the only reason I spoke about time is because I did speak with my client and he said, I don't care. We're changing turbos. We're changing a bunch of stuff. So everybody knows pretty much what everybody runs anyways around here. But it's not like I'm giving any secrets out. He was happy he ran that. He told his friends and people know. And you know what I mean? So it's not like a secret or anything. But next year, we're not going to show time slips until maybe the end of the season. And then maybe, well, if the client wants, good. If he doesn't want, well, nobody will know what to run. But showing a 60 foot, it's not a problem. You know what I mean? And when we do that 102 60 foot, I'm going to post it up. Anyways, I won't make this video any longer because already it's gotten too long. I'm going to install my timing set because, to be honest with you, when I work, I need to be concentrated 100%. I don't want the camera rolling, all that stuff. So every time I stop, like right now, everything's torqued. There's no way for me to make a mistake. This side is done. Everything is torqued. I do not videotape and talk and work at the same time. Other people do it. This is not how I work. I don't work like that. I work alone. There's nobody talking to me. If somebody comes, I tell them to wait until I'm done something. I stop, then I go outside. Nobody comes in this room. It's just me. I'm a little bit particular the way I work with things, and I do have great success on the way I do things. So why change something when it works? You have to be 100% concentrated when you do this stuff. You can't have the camera rolling and talking and stopping and you're about to make a mistake. That's not how it works. You have to respect your client's property and the money they spend. And that's what I do. You know, so I mean, every time I stopped, it's when everything was torqued and I was showing you something. I'm not working and videotaping myself. I don't want to be a Hollywood movie star. But I want to get more subscribers. I want to get, if I can make some money doing this, why not? It can help my race car. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we all need more and more money because this life is getting way too expensive. Thanks for watching. Hit a like, subscribe. The next video is going to be probably tomorrow. Now I want to concentrate, finish the other side, put my timing set, put my degree wheel on, make sure everything is good, and probably button up the oil pan, the front cover. And once I get my head gaskets, I'm waiting for Comatic to come in. Then we can do complete everything and do a nice dyno session, naturally aspirated, to make sure everything's good, no leaks, the modification I did to the pump, how much more oil pressure is it making, the different clearances that I did this year, how that working out. This stuff, there's a right way and a wrong way. The right way, you take all the steps. Like I said before, you take all the steps, you put the chances on your side. And then again, we could come out with brand new rods, brand new everything, and the first down the track, a rod snaps, God forbid. You never know with the stuff. You know what I mean? I had to make the rods, right? That's the way it is, this game. NASCAR have multi-million-dollar budgets and their engines fail during testing or during racing, you know. It goes the same thing for drag racing. Anything can happen to anybody, you know. I'm not God. Nobody's God. You know what I mean? Only God is perfect. We're just humans. We're like, everybody's equal. Some guys have a little bit more smart in certain areas. Some other guys are more smart in other areas. You know, everybody has their own gift. My gift, in my opinion, is this. I love this and I'm good at it. So this is why I do have a shop and I've been in business for a very long time. Thanks for watching. Much appreciated. Hit a like, subscribe, support the channel. Thank you.